remember most about my father is how supportive he was, because without him, there's no way I could have gotten to where I am in my life now as a politician and a mother and someone who cares just as much as my dad did about making this world as good as it can be. Hey everyone, it's Catchy, aka OBiGem. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell to be notified of all future videos. And if you like what you see, please do hit the like button so I keep making content like this. So we're back with another episode of Not So Berry, and so much has happened since the last time I played. Just to give you the rundown of everything, Sienna has aged up to an adult, or even before that. Well, let's rewind it before that. So if you guys remember the end of the last episode, she and Ezra kind of had a moment during New Year's Eve, and since then they've been keeping in touch. He's been in town on his assignment in San Myshuno, and he actually rented the house next door to Sienna's, so they see each other a lot. They hang out, they chat a lot, they spend so much time together. They've been getting on great. And so when Sienna did age up to an adult, Ezra did take her out for her birthday. He even came back to her place and made her a chocolate cake to help her age up, and she had a really great birthday. Glade even seemed to take a little bit of a liking to Ezra, other that, or he was eyeing that cake and he wanted some, but neither here nor there. Everything has been great in the department of Sienna and Ezra. However, tragedy has struck. So while I was playing off screen, just checking some stuff off of the checklist, our dear Gen 1 founder Glade Everberry did pass away. So it's been kind of rough on the Everberry clan. Zari's been taking it especially hard. There wasn't really much of a reconciliation from the last time he called Glade when he wanted to spend New Year's with them. He said he hated him, so he kind of feels really bad and devastated, because in his mind he's like, no, Grandpa died thinking I hated him, and I'll never be able to tell him that I really loved him. And Sienna has just not been able to figure out a way to console Zari. He's been in his feelings a lot. Obviously he's got the loner trait, so he's been spending a lot of time alone, commiserating, crying under his sheets. It's been quite sad. Sienna's been trying her best to keep it together by staying confident and focusing on work, but she still has moments of weakness where she is sad and missing her daddy, because we all know that Sienna was a daddy's girl. But Ezra's been so great for her and being there through her grief. Unfortunately, he was actually at the house when Glade passed away, so he's a little bit traumatized from it, even though he didn't know Glade that well. Witnessing his death kind of really put him off, and he's been empathizing with Sienna and he feels her sadness too, and he's just been being there for her. He's been coming over a lot and spending the night over at Sienna's a lot. It's not anything dirty. They've been, sleeping together, but it's mostly just been cuddling. They've actually never woohooed at all together, even though they've been kind of sort of dating, but they're not boyfriend-girlfriend right now. She's just really been leaning on him and relying on him as an emotional crutch, and he's been perfect for that. They've just been hanging out, watching movies, and he's just been being there for her, and I think that's just what Sienna needs right now. But with that all being said, they did celebrate Springfest yesterday, which was quite kind of sad still, because, this is the first Springfest that Sienna has celebrated without her father, and she invited Ezra, of course, and her mother over for Springfest. And it was really hard on Nora, because if you guys have been watching since mid-gen, you'll remember that Springfest is the day that Glade had made things official with Nora. That's when they officially became boyfriend and girlfriend. So obviously on Springfest, her mind's going to her late husband and that moment, and it's just really quite sad. But today, Sienna is going to work. She is level 9 in the politician career. I think she just needs to secure one more vote, and then she can max out her career. But after she gets back from work, they're going to go ahead and have the wake at the Everberry mausoleum. So I did set up a little mausoleum in Windenburg because I want there to be a place where I can lay all of my my not so berry heirs to rest, and also kind of encapsulate or time capsulize all of their photos and core items that they use throughout their lifetime, just so I can have a place that every single heir or everybody from the Everberry family can go to and kind of remember the fallen heirs. So you guys will see that at the wake, but I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Sienna go to work because I've been just chatting your ear off non-stop right now. So we will catch her when she gets back from work. So we are at the end of Sienna's workday. She gathered everyone at the Everberry mausoleum so that she could give the eulogy for Glade's wake. As you can see here, she is hugging Ezra. She's like, I'm so glad that you're here. I really have appreciated your support through this difficult time of me mourning my dad, and it just means a lot to me that you came through to be here for the wake. And Ezra's like, of course, Sienna, whatever you need, I am here for you. I know it's hard, and I know how much you loved your dad, so I'm going to be here for you however you need me to be. And of course, Sienna is grateful for it, but she invited her family. Candace and Robin flew in from Mount Komorebi. They are having a nanny watch their son because they did have a baby boy, a little baby boy named Kennedy. I do have to go in and give him a makeover and make sure he looks okay. In the meantime, they are here, and she invited all of Glade's remaining living friends, which unfortunately there aren't too many of them left. So it's mostly just people who, are still all living from the neighborhood in Evergreen Harbor. So this is Julius Schaefer. Glade knew her mom. I don't know how well he knew Julia, but that's that. And then obviously this is Robin over here. I don't know what he's doing. He's over here painting something. I guess he's painting through his grief. He looks quite upset. I think for Robin in particular, this is very devastating and hard because him and Candace did make the executive's decision not to tell his parents that Candace was pregnant at the wedding. And I feel like on some level Robin's kicking himself a little bit because he's thinking, I was hoping that I'd get to announce the baby once, Candace gave birth, and Dad just didn't make it before Kennedy was born, and now he never even knew he was going to have another grandson. I think that really kind of hurts. It stings, which is unfortunate. But thankfully, Miss Nora, she knows about baby Kennedy, and she's just grateful to have someone, something else to keep her going because, all of Nora's friends are dead. Her husband's dead, so it's going to be tough for her and what her next steps are. Sienna did invite Andre to the wake. Obviously, he's here mostly for Zari because obviously Zari is devastated, but, he is kind of here for Sienna too, even though, they're not romantically involved anymore. They're going to be tied together for life, so, he doesn't want her to be upset, so he feels bad. He's like, I feel sad that Sienna lost her dad. That's sad. And then of course Candace, and Candace is looking a little bit sad too. Obviously, I mean, she didn't know Glade super well, but that's Sienna's dad and that's her father-in-law. So she's like, she's sad for Sienna, and of course she's sad for her husband, Robin. So, and I think she's also sad that she didn't get to tell Glade about her son, so that's devastating. And of course Julian Tinker, which was a very close friend of Glade's before Glade passed, because obviously all of Glade's friends passed away, and Glade always had a soft spot for Julian, and since Julian grew up with two moms, he never really experienced the whole dad thing. So I think on some level he kind of saw Glade as kind of like a dad figure in his life. So it's almost like he lost his dad, and he's already lost both of his moms. So this is tough. So he's here for this effect. I was about to call this a festivity. It's not festive, you guys. This is pretty much a funeral. But I'm going to go ahead and have them all set so that Sienna can give the eulogy for a one Glade Everberry, and after Sienna gives her eulogy, we will do a little in memoriam of Glade and have a little bit of a photo gallery, through Glade's life, just remembering the memories. But, let's go ahead and get this eulogy started. So Sienna's all ready to give her speech. All of her family and friends are here to listen to her give Glade his send-off. So she's gonna go ahead and dive right in. She says, "Thank you everyone who's come here, gathered to celebrate my father. He was an amazing husband, amazing father, an incredible friend, and just the most amazing leader in Evergreen Harbor, and everyone who knew him loved him because he put so much love and energy into everything that he did. And I'll remember most about my father is how supportive he was, because without him, there's no way I could have gotten to where I am in my life now as a politician and a mother, and someone who cares just as much as my dad did about making this world as good as it can be. Dad, there's no one like you, and you'll never be replaced, and we'll always miss you. And I don't know how I'm going to go on in this world without my daddy, but I miss you, Dad, and I love you, and wherever you are, I hope you're at peace, and we'll see you again real soon, Dad. Everyone here loves you." And this is just incredibly sweet. Little Zari is sitting here listening to his mother give this eulogy, and he has a little smile on his face because I think he's really thinking back to his granddad and how much he misses him, and he's really in agreement with what his mom's saying. He's like, granddad really was an incredible person, and I'm gonna miss him, but I do hope that wherever he is, he's happy. And it's like Mom says, I'll see him again one day, and I hope that I can live up to be just as good as a person as Granddad was when he was alive. Which is just, a really sweet sentiment for Zari, and I think he's going to really latch on to that and use that to help propel him in his future endeavors. One of the last things he talked to his grandfather about was the idea of being a pioneer on the world beyond, as far as like different planets and discovering, aliens and all of that out there. And I think with his grandfather dying and his mom's speech talking about living up to Glade's example, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, Granddad, I'm gonna make you proud, I'm gonna grow up and I'm going to become an astronaut so I can discover, different planets and aliens. And once I've, made that world out there, as good as you've made the world here, then I'll know that I have lived up to your memory. And little Zari obviously is always going to miss his grandfather, but, I think he's hopeful now after hearing his mom's eulogy. Just so you could see the little mausoleum, I moved all of Glade's family photos from the house into the mausoleum so that any future heir of the Everberry family could come here and see where it all began. It was such a joy being able to take all of these family photos for my first generation of Not So Berry. I believe it's the most photos I've ever taken any type of generational play I've done, with a close second being my current household. But as you can see, I tried to capture every single point in every single point of this family. Like, this is just crazy seeing how far we came from when Sienna was a little toddler, from when little Robin was a baby, back when we had Pepper, and then, Sienna was a child and Robin was a toddler, then Sienna as a teen and Robin as a kid. This was a janky ass pose, so, don't judge me on that. I've since learned how to do better mixing of poses with Tool, but these ones were my actual favorite of the Everberry family photos to take the one where I did the little fall photo shoot. And there's even Red Bell in this picture. I don't think I noticed that before. Obviously the pumpkin patch with Sorry was a highlight from the fall photos too. And this one is my favorite of Glade and Nora, because this is the last one they took together as a couple, and it just looks so aesthetic. I love to see it. But it was a wild ride, you guys, with Glade. He has passed on, and he will live on forever in our memories. I'm trying to find a photo. It was like the first photo that Glade took with Nora, and I am not finding it. I just want to showcase it because it's such a good photo. Oh, there it is. These photos were the photos on Glade's bedroom wall. If you can remember, that is actually the Spring Fest photo from when he asked Nora to be his girlfriend. This, I believe, is the very first photo they took together ever. So that's from episode 1. That's crazy. And then, of course, the wedding. And then him and Sienna, Mint and Rose. But I think it would be good to go ahead and end on a photo of him and Zari, because we are soon going to pass baton to Yellow Jen, and obviously Glade loved his grandson dearly. I'm so excited to finally move on to the Yellow generation, and you know, it's kind of bittersweet though, because it's been a wild bumpy ride with Rose. This episode's not quite over yet. I do still need to send Sienna to work so she can get her final promotion, and there's one final surprise at the end of this episode. I bet you guys can guess what it is, but we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week. So after the eulogy, Sienna came out to the lobby just to get a little bit of air and kind of reflect on just her dad and the fact that he's really gone and where to go from here. And when she came out, she ran into her oldest friend, Julian Tinker. She's like, Julian, if you aren't, a sight for sore eyes. And he's like, Sienna, same to you. How are you doing? I know it must be hard having lost your dad. I know what that's like having lost both my mothers. She's like, obviously, it's not the best ever. I miss my dad terribly, but I will get over it. I just, it's gonna take some time for me to feel okay about it. She's like, but I really do appreciate you being here. My dad loved you. And she gave him a big old hug. She's like, I miss us hanging out. I hope that you have been good. You and your, little family and Catalea and all of that. You guys should come over for a visit sometime. Julian's like, yes, of course, Zari and Catalea are around the same age. We should, set up a play date, and we really should hang out a little bit more. It just feels like since we've gotten older, we haven't gotten to hang out the way that we used to. And she's like, Julian, that's just because as far as our friendship has gone, it's always been, not really a true friendship. There's always been feelings in the mix. But I honestly feel like now that we're both, older and all of that's much in the past, I think we need to start reconnecting and actually reestablishing a real friendship. I always kind of felt bad about how I let, teen angst and romance get in the way of us just being able to be friends like we were when we were really, really little kids. And I kind of want that back, Julian. I don't have as many friends. And honestly, thinking about my dad through that eulogy and how many friends he maintained in his lifetime, I feel like that's something I never really inherited from him. And I'd like to pay tribute to my dad in a way and try and develop and keep friendships the way that he did. He had so many friends when he was alive, and I want that for me. And Julian's like, of course, Sienna, obviously there's always going to be love between us, but I do think that we're finally in a position now where it can be a lot more platonic. And, we're supposed to be best friends, so let's hang out more, let's do it. She's like, sure, Julian, we definitely need to. She's starving, so that's why she's doing that. He's like, but you really do look great, Sienna. And you're like, you look happier than, I know this is kind of like a wake and whatnot, so that's not quite what I meant, but it's like, you look definitely happier outside of that. And he's like, how are things? Are you, do you have someone in your life? And Zena's like, I kind of do, Julian. I do have somebody in my life. It's nothing official right now, but he's really been someone I've come to rely on, and he's been there for me, and I guess that's what you're seeing right now. And Julian's like, that's great, Sienna. I'm really happy for you. That's really all I've ever wanted for you. And she's like, Julian, I really appreciate it. So that is that on that. Miss Sienna is about to head down to the bar in the basement because this mausoleum does have a bar. After you cry it out, you gotta drink it out. So she's about to get her drink on to drink it out. But, that conversation with Julian, I think, has been the most closure she's ever gotten from, the whole Julian Sienna whole thing. I know you guys have, seen me go back and forth with Sienna and Julian because I adore Julian Tinker. He's been like the biggest surprise as far as this generation for Sims I just completely fell in love with. And if this wasn't Rose Gen and, this was a different time, different life, they might have ended up together. But honestly, I'm not all the way upset the fact that, things didn't really work out between them. Because I think that them being friends and getting this closure and really kind of coming to lean on each other is what they both needed. And I'm happy for that. And it just feels like Sienna is a whole lot more at peace now. And I'm ready for her to move on into the next section of her life. Obviously, this is the last episode of Rose Gen. We will be having the Rose Generation wedding during Yellow Gen. So don't worry about that. So we're still gonna keep that in the loop. But is this not a stunning still shot of Sienna? I want to highlight this. She just is so flawless. I'll be sad if we don't ever have another Not So Berry heir that's as pretty as she is, but she is so pretty. She's so stunning. But anyway, we're gonna end the wake here, and we will catch back up with Miss Sienna at the end of her workday because she has one final surprise for this episode that we are going to end this generation with. So Sienna has made it back from her workday, and as I anticipated, she is level 10 at the politician career. She is now the national leader, so she obviously got a bonus and increase in pay. But that also means that we have maxed out the career. So to celebrate her maxing out the career, she's going to ask Ezra if he will be interested in going out on a date with her tonight, and she's going to get ready for that. And while she's at her date, she's going to actually send Zari over to spend some time with her dad. Her and Andre kind of turned the corner at the wake, and he's like, I know you're going through a lot losing your dad. If you need any help at all with Zari, I don't mind having him over a little bit more if you just need a little bit of time to yourself. So she's going to take him up on that and send Azari over there to spend the night with his dad so she can get some one-on-one time with Ezra. But we are going to reconvene with Ezra in just a bit. So Sienna asked Ezra out to this bar and having some tapas, and she's wanting to really connect with him and have a serious conversation about their future together. So she's like, Ezra, it's meant a lot to me this time we spent together, and I've really appreciated the support that you've given me through really everything. He's like, of course, Sienna, I've really, appreciated how close we've gotten. She's like, no, really, I just want you to know that, it's meant so much to me having you in my corner, and, I really care about you. And he's like, of course, I care about you too, Sienna, She's like, I know things have been, moving really slow between us, and I really appreciate you, really working with me and staying with me, even though things have been moving quite slow. But I did want to, bring you out here so I could ask you something. She's like, Ezra, would you be interested in having, a real relationship with me? And he's like, of course, Sienna, of course. So they are now officially girlfriend and a boyfriend, and Sienna is just, so excited that they've reached this next step in their relationship. And so we're actually going to end things here. I know this is kind of a little bit abrupt, but my games have been acting wonky. I wanted to make this like in a date, but The game said no. But anyway, so Sienna and Ezra are officially a boyfriend and girlfriend, and they're going to continue to let their relationship build. Obviously, this is not the last we'll be seeing of Miss Sienna, but this is the last episode of Rose Generation. She is national leader of the world. She has gotten all 8 boyfriends. I do still need to work on getting 5 gold star medal date. The game has been killing me on canceling my dates, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna stream some Not So Berry in between Rose and Yellow Gen. I did tell you guys there'd be a little bit of a break there because I want to start Zari as a young adult and not a teen. He'll be aging up to a teen in 2 days, so that's going to happen in the in-between time. So look out on the community tab for if I drop the stream schedule. I don't know if I'm going to stream it on YouTube or Twitch, so pay attention to that. But let me know, you guys, what did you think of Rose Gen? This was quite the wild ride, and Miss Sienna has come a long way. Do you anticipate that Ezra will be the one that she'll be meeting at the altar when she finally gets married as an elder? And what are you guessing is going to be coming down the pipeline for Yellow Gen? I would be curious to hear your thoughts. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and of course, stay dazzled. I will see you in the next one. Bye. I can show you something. I'm hotter so than